What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another pre-market watch list here on the Boiler Room. So it is Friday. I can already tell things are moving a little bit slower in the market right now. Really there isn't a whole lot of plays that I even really like this morning. So it's going to be kind of a broad watch list. There's going to be a few stocks I watch. It's primarily going to be one of those days where you watch a handful of things, and if something looks good, then you jump in on it. But as of right now, I'm not super crazy about anything, and that it just happens. Some days it's like that. So right now, the S&P or the SPY is washing out and trending down a little bit pre-market. Kind of expected this since it retraced back quite a bit without really seeing a pullback. So this might be a red day. We'll see. We'll see, right? So we still got some time until the market opens. Some things might change a little bit. But again, I'm not super crazy about anything. I don't even really have any stock that I really want to trade this morning. Everything's just kind of a toss-up. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to kind of show you what I'm looking at. But again, today is going to be one of those days where it's probably going to be pretty slow. And it is a long weekend, right? It's going to be a long weekend, no trading Monday. So again, all right, it could be a very, very slow day. We'll see. So we'll start here with the S&P. As you can see, the S&P is starting to wash here a little bit. It has retraced all the way back to its 61.8% retracement level using Fibonacci. So you can see here, right, it is basically retraced all the way back up to its 61.8% retracement level, which is a very, very key level to watch for. So again, we might see a red day on the SPY. And if that's the case, and if we start seeing a red day and it starts coming down, then I'll trade TVIX, right? TVIX, a lot of you guys already know, inverse ETN. It goes the opposite direction of the SPY. It had some pretty good moves earlier on in the day before getting really choppy and start slowing down. So again, if the SPY does start coming down, this will probably be my primary play for the day. So TVIX, I will keep on watch in hopes that the SPY does see a pretty big red day, right? So that's really the one that I am keeping on watch. For a lot of you out there, I'm sure a lot of you have traded MBRX over the past day. So I'll point this out. This is typical. MBRX, penny stock, right? This was very typical. Almost could have predicted this with my eyes closed that it's going to come down. It's just natural. It does this. MBRX is known to spike and crash constantly, right? If you look at this yearly chart, look at every time it spikes. Spike, down, right? It rode up for a bit there and then came down. Spike, down, spike, down, spike, down, spike, coming down again, right? It's just very common. So this is the kind of stock you don't want to get caught holding the bag on, right? You don't hold this, right? So again, it was pretty obvious this was going to happen. So for those of you, be cautious trying to trade MBRX. It's a very volatile stock, and I'm sorry if you got caught holding the bag, maybe held overnight, whatever the case may be. But just for future reference, MBRX is a stock that it's very volatile, and it will move up, and then it usually comes right back down. All right, so there are some things kind of gapping up this morning. So we'll talk about that. So one of them here is SNCR. So SNCR has gapped up this morning up to a high of 1024. So from 750 to 1024, that's a big gap, right? Pretty big gap. If you look at this yearly chart, it's basically been downtrending forever, very, very long time. Now there is some news released this morning that I think it was Citi Capital Group or Siri Capital Group. It's talking about a preferred stock investment by Ceres Capital Group, and that's what's causing the stock to pop up this morning. It's a little lighter on the volume side, not a whole lot. It has about 232,000 shares of volume. The float's 42 million, so a little higher on the float side, but there's still some opportunity there. I would say we'll probably see this come down. I think we're going to close some of this gap up. I don't necessarily think this gap up's going to hold, so I'm going to be sorry, a little bit more short biased on this trade today, right? That's how I feel about it. I'd be a little bit more short biased. Now I'll move over to FOSL. So FOSL for the past couple days, been pretty good. It's seen a lot of volume. I think we're actually going to see a continuation to the downside today. I think that's very possible, right? If you look at this yearly chart, you'll see the gap from 9 all the way to 18, right? And now it's right at, I think it's at like 14. Let me double check. Yeah, it's at like $15, $15.50 right now. So there's a lot of room that it can still come down. So I am going to remain short biased on FOSL, right? So again, keep FOSL on your watch for, a short and look at, right? So for those who are like, oh, well, I can't go short. Well, look what happened, right? After it got short sold, what did it end up doing? It ended up reversing and going long. This is a very common pattern you'll see. When stocks fade for a while, the short sellers that were all in on this move need to cover their position, which in turn causes the stock to go up. So that's a very common move you'll see. And I think it's very possible we'll see something very similar to that today as well. So it's kind of just hanging around right now. So you're going to want to give it some time to see what it wants to do when the market opens. But I definitely think FOSL is going to be one of the stocks that'll be on my watch list. Another one here is HTGM. I'm not a huge fan of HTGM because it trades on such light volume right now that it can be very challenging to trade. Market makers flip the spread, they squeeze shorts out, right? They mess with long. So the market makers are really manipulating the stock. So this is not going to be a stock for many beginners to trade. If you're a beginner, I highly recommend staying away from the stock. But, if you want to take a stab at it, you can short sell it. Here's the deal. HTGM before popped all the way up to 13, crashed down. Now we're seeing a nice move back up and it's continuing higher. Ideally, I want to see HTGM crash and burn. Right? It's a piece of junk. The only reason it's going up is because was it Citigroup or was it Fidelity? Oh, Fidelity. It was Fidelity that released that they had like a 12% stake in the company. And then ever since then, it's been rallying up. Now, again, it's on light volume, but I would like to see HTGM come down. There is a lot of room that it can come down. Considering where it's at. It's a little overextended, so it could technically pull all the way to 424, which is about a point. Close to. It's a little less than $1 a share. So there is a lot of room it could come down, and that's what I'm hoping for. I'm not going to push it. Again, this is a very manipulated stock by market makers, so this is something you're going to want to be careful trading if you do go ahead and take that route by trading HTGM. I might trade it. I might not. It just kind of all depends on how I'm feeling or what I think about it, right, when the time comes. So again, right, going to keep that on watch. And then here, one second, I'm going to go through some of these comments here. Good morning to everyone as well. Zach, Mr. J, Zaref, Scott, familiar faces, Chris. Yeah, Chris, definitely thinking that as well. We might see a good choppiness going on. Let's see, ZN. Let me take a look. I haven't looked at it for. Oh yeah, this is that one. Yeah. I know of this. Yeah, ZN's just kind of hanging by a thread right now. It's kind of similar volume to HTGM. There's a little bit more volume on it, but again, right? ZN has a lot of room to come down. Not a ton. Let's see, 370. It's got about 70 cents to come down. So again, for those of you looking at trading ZN, be very careful. Again, this is a stock that can be easily manipulated when there's not a whole lot of volume that it's being traded on, okay? And it's notorious, right? Spike up, come down. Spike up, probably going to come down. So be a little cautious when it comes to trading that one as well. Let's see what else we have. They're just random stocks today. I mean, nothing looks beautiful. It's all just kind of up in the air stuff right now. Right now we have, I mean, it was a recent IPO. Won't mess with that. TRIP, I would keep TRIP on watch. For those of you that are familiar with it, yesterday, it's seen a huge gap up, and then it just rolled over and dumped out. It is still technically kind of uptrending if you're looking at a longer chart. But Here's the deal. It gapped up from about $40 to 49, and it basically closed that whole gap yesterday. And there was a lot of short selling that took place. So it's very possible we'll see TRIP go higher today because, well, there's a lot of short selling that took place. So if these short sellers cover up today, we'll see a pretty good squeeze on that. We should see a pop. Matt, it's possible XXII has some continuation. I did look at XXII today. It is possible we'll see some continuation on that, but I'm not a fan of it. Let's see. Yeah, I had a ton of issues with Robinhood with it lagging because I'm a day trader. So, I need to, pennies, on the dollar mean a lot, right? Xeriff, for a long, I would keep on watch. TRIP this morning, and there's a plenty of other stocks. I mean, these are just a few that I found that I think that I will like trading. That'll be pretty good. Again, today's not one of those days where I see a whole lot of action. But Robinhood, I'm actually considering bringing back the challenge, starting with 1,000 this time. But I am actually considering bringing back the challenge. I traded on Robinhood recently for the first time in a couple months, and it seemed as if my orders were going through much faster without any issues. I'm sure there's probably still some, but I think they may have fixed some of the bugs that they were having. I wasn't having a problem getting in and out of my orders at the price I wanted to, so I might actually bring the challenge back. APRI went from like $3.33 all the way down to 70 cents. That particular stock this morning, yeah, you could watch that. That's actually not bad. I do like that. I should mention this. Watch APRI. Here's the deal. It has a lot of room to go up, but just because it gapped down, it has a lot of room to run, doesn't mean it will. It got denied. It's drug by the FDA. Basically, the FDA denied their approval for one of their drugs, and the thing just completely dumped overnight. So it's very possible. Matt, LBCC, I looked at that one as well this morning. I would be short biased on LBCC because, well, it's a piece of crap. That's the only reason. The stock's junk, and I think LBCC was Long Island. I think if I'm correct, LBCC was Long Island iced tea before cryptocurrency became a thing, and then they went from Long Island iced tea, changed their name and their ticker symbol to LBCC, and tried to ride the hype and momentum of blockchain and cryptocurrency world. And yeah, exactly, Matt. And let's see. And exactly, right? So LBCC it's junk. I would be short biased on it. So, I mean, that's all I got for you here today. Again, it's kind of a choppy day in the market. I didn't see a whole lot, so I'm just kind of putting together a list of some things you can watch, keep an eye on, and of course, there's going to be other stocks out there that move well, despite what I've mentioned. But for me, it's probably going to be TVIX, Fossil, and Trip. Those are probably going to be my three main stocks that I want to watch. So that's all I have for you guys today on the watch list. And once again, you can always check out the description box in the channel below, where you'll be able to find all the links to the trading course, live trading room, Facebook group, so you can stay linked in with everything that it is that we do here in the Boiler Room. So I will catch you guys all on Tuesday morning. Take care.